You'd heard of Zodiac Killer. You'd heard of Son of Sam. The Golden State Killer is one of the most prolific, violent serial rapists and eventually a murderer.
Patton Oswalt and Liz Garbus, thank you so much for joining us here on Daily Blast Live.
Thank you. Thank you so much.
Now, Michelle's book is widely credited for renewing interest in the Golden State Killer case. Do you think Joseph James DeAngelo would have been caught otherwise?
I mean, I don't know if he would have been caught without her naming him the Golden State Killer. And I'm only saying that based on what other police have told me, which is, you know, one of the reasons cases go cold, and this is a morbid reason, but sometimes the killers are not given cool, memorable names. And she came up with the name, the Golden State Killer, and all of her research and activity around it made this cold case warm again.
So Patton, sticking right on that, you helped finish this book. You created this series with the help of Liz, of course, and many other people, I'm sure. Was this a difficult process for you?
Well, of course. I mean, I had to, to get the book done, I had to hand all the material over to, two other writers, because I couldn't look at any of this stuff objectively. It was still too emotional, and especially with the documentary.
Now, instead of glorifying the criminals in I'll Be Gone in the Dark, Liz, it centers around the survivors. How important was it for you to let the survivors tell their own story?
It was super important. I wanted to resist the kind of trope of this all-powerful serial killer, oh my God, mastermind, and instead, center the stories of the survivors who, frankly, have just incredible strength and stories to tell. In the filmmaking process, we really wanted to honor that and echo that approach.
Going off script here a little bit, watching the first 2 episodes, you know what really jumped off the screen for me was that the women and what society was going through at that time, they were almost blamed for having the killer rape them. I mean, it was so apparent in those first 2 episodes that it's crazy to think back that's how society was.
Well, unfortunately, it's still that way a lot of times now. We've evolved. I don't think we've evolved as far as we should have. I think it was just more blatant back then.
So filming had just begun when news of DeAngelo's arrest broke. What was that like?
It was crazy because, we had just started filming. It was our first night, and we had just met Michelle's family. We were in Chicago, and hearing that news with them was so heavy and emotional. It was mind-blowing, and of course, it's amazing that they've put a name to this unknown killer.
DeAngelo's is expected to plead guilty the day after the show premieres. So Liz, how do the survivors feel about this, and do they have a sense of closure with this all?
I certainly can't speak for all the survivors. Of course, there are way too many. I will say from some of the people we know whose counts weren't included in the original charges because of statute of limitations on rape cases or, DNA evidence that was lacking, that for them, if he pleads guilty to their rapes as well, that's really important that those cases be counted.
Patton and Liz, really thank you so much for joining us here on DBL. I'll Be Gone in the Dark premieres June 28th on HBO. It's also available for streaming on HBO Max. Guys, I can't thank you enough. Best of luck to you in the future, and the series is going to be a smash hit. Thank you guys for joining me.
Thank you so much.
Have a good one, guys.